Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. My name's Stephanie and today I'm going to be sharing CND's Magical Botany Collection with you. So I'm super excited to share this collection because it's actually my first time trying CND. Big thank you to Beyond Polish for sending me this collection. So as always, I will save more of my thoughts at the end after some comparisons. For now, let's just get into the swatches. The first polish we have is Scarlet Letter, and this is such an interesting red to me. I think I would describe this as more of an orange leaning red as opposed to a blue leaning, which is normally what I would expect for a holiday winter sort of red. But even though this has a little bit of an orange lean to it, it definitely is very, very dark. On the first coat, it does look a little bit light because you can see it is a little bit of a jelly kind of formula, so you could see straight through to my nail line. It has a bit of a squishy, translucent effect. And unfortunately, it didn't get fully opaque on two coats like I was expecting. I know that very deep reds like this usually have that jelly, crelly kind of formula, but I almost always find them opaque on two coats, so it was a little bit annoying that this one did need a third, but I still really loved the color in the end. I just love this take on a scarlet red, which is a red with hints of orange, but this is just so deep and so appropriate for winter. I just wish it was a two-coater. Next up we have It's Getting Golder, and this is a warm golden metallic shade, and I really love this one. I forgot to mention it with the last polish, but I also really love the CND brushes. They have just this beautiful rounded paddle brush that makes it so easy to apply, super easy to work with the formulas as well. I found the formula on this one was super nice and easy to apply, very even coverage, and it was just a tiny bit sheer on the first coat, so it wasn't quite as full coverage as like other metallic shades, for example. So I did need a second coat, and I could still see a little bit of nail line, but it just wasn't enough to do a third in my opinion. And like other metallics, this one can be a little bit brush strokey, but I don't think it's too bad. But yeah, I love this shade of gold. Next up we have Midnight Flight, and this is an incredibly dark midnight blue base, or at least I think it is. It might just be a black base, but there's just so much blue shimmer that it kind of looks a little blue. But either way, it's definitely one of those shades that is so dark it borderlines being a black polish. But still, I am just a big fan of this sapphire kind of blue shimmer in here. I just think it is so beautiful, super dark and moody, perfect for the winter months. And as you saw, it had an amazing formula that was very full coverage on the first coat. Not quite a one coater, there still were a little bit of light spots, but it was perfectly opaque in two. The next shade we have is Poison Plum, and this is another super dark polish that really looks like black, especially in like low lighting, but it's actually this really dark plummy purple kind of jelly base color. You can definitely tell it's a little bit more purple on the first coat where there's some light spots here and there, but once you do a second coat, again, it just gets super dark, so it's kind of hard to tell that's purple. But I still really love this one because I'm just a big fan of plummy purple shades, but this one also has these like rose gold metallic glitters in there, and I just think they are so magical. In some angles it's kind of hard to tell, like they don't pop so much, but once you move your fingers around you see them twinkle, and it is just so pretty. Next up we have a surprise favorite from this collection. This is Frostbite, and it has this almost champagne taupey colored base with this really pretty green shimmer that I think also shifts to a little bit of aqua in extreme angles. It is just such a unique combination of colors. Like I don't think I've ever seen a polish with this color base and shimmer combination before. So seeing it in the bottle, I wasn't super excited, but then trying it on, I was like, okay, wait a second, this is actually really cool. The formula was super easy to work with. It was really even coverage. On the first coat alone, I actually did really like it because it had a little bit of a lighter base color, so it looked more like a true neutral but with a fun shimmer. But I also love how it looks on two coats where it's a little deeper. And rounding out the collection, we have Forevergreen, and this one, believe it or not, is actually a super dark green polish with purple shimmer. Just seeing it in the bottle, I thought it was going to be the purple version of Midnight Flight, for example, so I was really surprised when I started applying it and saw the base was like a super, super dark forest green. I actually did really like the color and especially the combination with the purple, but again, this is one of those shades that is going to look so dark that it's going to basically read as like a black base in most lighting, especially low lighting. I think maybe in direct sunlight, you might be able to tell that it's actually green. But yeah, either way, this was another super stunning shade. I feel like this was the one that really landed the Magical Botany vibe. And here is the collection lineup. So it is a beautiful mix of some holiday shades, wintry shades, but with a fun little twist. The first two polishes are definitely the most basic holiday kind of shades, but the other four I thought were super beautiful. I just kind of wish the darker ones were a little bit lighter so that you can actually tell the colors, but I love how deep and moody they are. So getting into comparisons, we're starting with Scarlet Letter and looking at it next to OPI's Big Apple Red just for a quick bottle comparison, because that is the kind of red I would wear in the winter time where it's a little bit more of a blue leaning shade, while something like OPI's I Love You Just Be-Cusco is a little bit more orange leaning, and this is a shade I would wear in the summertime. So you can see these two are definitely a lot more similar with like that orange tone, and they definitely look pretty similar here, but they are very different on the nail, and you can see the bottle shots in the back are pretty different as well, where Scarlet Letter is just a few shades darker, so it really is like the winter version. And lastly, here's a quick bottle comparison next to Essie's Wrapped in Luxury from last year's winter collection. Again, that one is a little bit more blue leaning, so definitely not a dupe, but they are a little bit similar with how dark they are. Next, for It's Getting Golder, I wanted to show it next to Essie's Not So Silent Night from that same Wrapped in Luxury collection, because it's another warm golden metallic shade, but that one is a little bit darker. And so I thought a closer kind of color comparison would be Mooncat's Fake Halo, which I know is a linear holographic, so it is a totally different formula. Obviously, there's no rainbows at all in It's Getting Golder, but I feel like the base colors are a little bit similar, or at least I thought that they were. On the nail, you can see they are very different. You can tell them apart pretty easily. The Essie shade has a little bit more of that like bronzy, maybe antique kind of color to it. And then Mooncat is obviously holographic, but it also leans a little bit peachy or rose gold even. But for Midnight Flight, I knew I had a great comparison with Mooncat's The 13th Hour, because this is another super dark black base with a sapphire blue kind of shimmer. They are not exact dupes, but they definitely have the same vibe. This is 2 coats of each, and I would say that the shimmer is a little bit finer and more evenly dispersed in the CND polish, whereas it's a little bit more speckly looking in Mooncat's. And lastly, for Poison Plum, I knew it was reminding me of something in my collection, and then I remembered of OPI's Stay the Night, which was from the Mariah Carey collection, I believe, from so long ago. This is one of the liquid sands, so it's a textured polish, but it's just not fully dried down all the way. So you can see these definitely have the same kind of makeup, where they have the rose gold glitters in a super dark plummy purple base, but there's definitely a lot more of them in OPI, and it's a little harder to read in Poison Plum. So that wraps up my swatches and comparisons for CND's Magical Botany Collection. So as always, I would love to know what your thoughts are on this release, especially if you have tried CND or if you haven't, because overall for my first time trying them, I pretty much had a really nice experience. I mean, the formulas for the most part were really beautiful, super easy to work with. I think the only one that didn't like blow me away was the red, because it had that slightly like jelly-ish formula. But again, I know that's so common for these like deeper tones of red. I don't know what it is about them that just causes them to have a slightly crelly finish, but I definitely did appreciate the tone of it because it's just so unique to my other dark reds. So I'm excited to use them soon, especially in some nail art, because I haven't done it in a while. So I'm hoping to have another winter style nail art video in the next week or so. I feel like those darker like metallic shades are going to be so beautiful, and again, that gold, is stunning. I am very excited to use that for the holiday season. And as a reminder, I am an affiliate with Beyond Polish, so if you want to shop either this collection or any other shades on Beyond Polish, I'll have my link in the description box down below, as well as my code to save you some money over there. Again, big thank you if you do use either my code or my link to support me and my channel. I really appreciate that. But yeah, make sure to let me know any and all thoughts that you have down below so we can chat about it. But thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.